This is MAP4C in and around day 27. For the most part, we're going to be working on the computers, doing some data analysis, collecting data, and that sort of thing on the computer. But our textbook uses a site called ESTAT, and ESTAT doesn't exist anymore. It used to be a site made by Statistics Canada for high schools to use that was sort of easier to use, and it would make graphs for you, and it was beautiful, but they just cut it out. So the data is still there. We just have to work around how we're going to get to it. So this is your textbook over here, and this is what you're going to see. This is a handout that I handed out in class, but essentially what I'm going to do is essentially go through this handout and show you what it should look like. So um, it asks you to go to the StatsCan website, so I can do that. Um, I can't remember what it's called, so Statistics Canada should come up. Yep, start page, and so on. And you can look for it, but ESTAT just isn't there. Um, and it might not look exactly like this because I think they update this page daily. Um, but what our textbook asks us to do is it asks us to go into ESTAT, no ESTAT of course, but then it asks us to find data on agriculture, then food and nutrition. Well, on the StatsCan website, we can still find the same data. Let's just get there. Um, Browse by subject. We see all the subjects that they have data on, and agriculture is one of them. I click on there. Food and nutrition is one of the subtopics, and we see a whole bunch of other ones. And this is a spot that's a little bit different. Our textbook doesn't talk about that. And so it says, at that point, once you click on food and nutrition, it says click on this table. Well, we can't see that yet. But it's there somewhere. Detailed tables from CanSim, that's what we want to click on. It's mentioned something about CanSim in the textbook. Sometimes we'll use the census tables, but not today. And then there's a list of tables available in Canada annually, and I'm going to click on that. And there's the table. Now, you see, it gives us a table that we didn't ask for. This is kind of like the default, and it gave us the commodity, the food. It was wheat flour, and we didn't want that. We wanted something else. So let's see what they wanted us to do. The textbook says under food categories, select food available. Under commodity, you'll be selecting 2 items, blah, 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 and it tells us what to do. Well, right now we can't see any of that, okay? We can't see any of that. We see kind of this table. But as the handout says, if we click on add and remove data, we'll be able to make these changes. And so I'm going to go through that and then show us what to do next. Add and remove data, and then I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to click off that because we just want the food available. Select commodity, and this is a big long list. So, and there might be a whole bunch selected depending on what table you're on. If I click on all and then all again, now there's nothing selected, and so there won't be anything silly selected. And I can select as many of these as I like. And now I'm scrolling down trying to find, I think it's ice cream. Ice cream. Yeah, there it is, ice cream, but also yogurt. So the idea is we're going to get 2 variable stats, how much yogurt people eat in a year and how much ice cream people eat in a year. And make those changes. And the time frame, the textbook asks us to use certain years. I'm going to use the most recent 10 years, 2003 to 2012. Another change that we're going to make is the output. The output is we're going to put time as rows so that the years will go down. In our textbook, what's funny is it says, retrieve as individual time series. This actually will make a graph. This would make a graph for us, but In this is an ESTAT thing. This is ESTAT, and we can't do it. No ESTAT. So what we'll do is pretty good still. We're going to retrieve it as a table. And then after that, we can use our spreadsheet skills, which we were just practicing, to copy this data if we'd like. I suppose we could select the headings as well. Control C to copy. Then I'm going to go into a spreadsheet. Hopefully I got a spreadsheet open. If I don't, I'd have to open one up first. Paste that in there. Bam, there it is. And this is the data that we want to plot. We could plot year and this and just see how it's changing over the years, but we want to see if there's a relationship between the amount of ice cream people eat and the amount of yogurt, which is interesting, I think, maybe. That will make a graph for us. Bam, there's the graph. And it's not the graph that we want. That's a double bar graph. We want a scatter plot. So we'll click on scatter plot. And can I go next? Do I want to go next? I'm just going to hit finish and see what happens here. There's my scatter plot. It's got no titles on it, but I want to show you one other thing. Before you can fancy it up with titles. If I click on the data and then right-click, I right-click there, insert trend line. It asked me what type of trend line, and notice I could do curves if I wanted to and show the equation. Okay, this is beautiful. Okay, it's got no titles on it, and the decimals are all messed up, but that's a pretty slick way to get a line of best fit. And we can see, if I interpret this correctly, this is ice cream, right? The first thing in the table is the thing on the bottom. As the amount of ice cream goes up, the amount of yogurt goes down. That kind of makes sense, I suppose. As the amount of ice cream goes up, the amount of yogurt goes down. A negative correlation, negative slope. Beautiful. Okay, have fun searching around and working with, not ESTAT, working with Stats Canada.